going on, guys? We are back tonight with another video for you, and let's go take a look. It's a cool little deck. I want to show off we got the pig-nosed turtle is one of the newer cards, and then the Asian box turtle, I believe, just dropped today. So I wanted to show off this new card. It says, when played, if played between two ocean reptile cards, your ocean reptiles, wherever they are, gain 19 until played. So nice buff there for the reptiles. And then we've seen just recently we got big-nosed turtle as well, probably within the last couple weeks. When drawing your ocean reptiles in hand, lose 20 perm. And then your ocean reptiles, wherever they are, gain 30 until played. So massive buff there on this deck specifically. 9 cards are going to get 30. And it's only going to be minus 20 on potentially just a couple cards in your hand, depending what you cycle with it. Try to keep this card around the other 9 cards, and it's not too bad. You're not going to lose a whole lot permanently, but you're going to gain a lot on the back end with this 30 until played. So that's kind of the idea. We did basically 9 oceans and reptiles, and then we beefed it around with a little bit of other kind of decent cards here. So we did toss in Great Dying as well, just because I like the permanent buff you get. Kind of offsets that pig nose a little bit. So when return for every paleo card you've played this game, your paleo cards lose 10, and then our life on land and ocean cards get that 6 perm. You can see we have quite a few life on land cards as well. We got 4 of those with our 9 oceans cards. So also rocking Magna Carta, since energy is only 14 this week on the regen. Want to make sure some of these epic cards that we have, we got quite a few epic and a couple, 1 or 2 rare cards as well. So want to make sure we get the discounts there where we need them. Only problem, Great Dying's 9 costed. It's not going to get the discount, so that can be a tougher one to play occasionally, but I feel like it's still worth it. What else? We have Chinese Alligators, one of the key cards in the deck as well. When returned for every mythical creatures card you've played this game, your ocean reptiles, wherever they are, gain 4 until played. So for each one, right? So this card can get quite large on its buff, depending how many mythical creature cards you do play. We only put 3 in the deck. We didn't go too crazy with it, so it's not going to get as excessive and broken as it can. I've seen it get quite large, like, some pretty good buffs, but I held it back a little bit in this deck. I really wanted to showcase these other 2 cards more so, and still wanted to do the Great Dying. So I could have taken the Paleo package out and just opted for more mythical creatures, but I don't know. I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to mix it up, do something a little bit different here. Black Cayman, when played, your opponent's life on land and oceans and seas cards, wherever they are, lose 20 this round. We've got Siamese Crocodile, going to get 28 until played on those ocean reptiles. But if you lost the turn, they're going to cost +2 until played. So we got to be real careful about playing this card, because I really don't want to lose and get the +2 until played on these cards, because, like I said, energy's a little tight. So that would be pretty unfortunate for us. American Alligator, when drawn, if your deck contains Chinese Alligator, which it does, your cards, wherever they are, gain 10 for 2 turns. Nothing crazy, but 60, basically going to get 60 extra power out of it. So for 4 energy, you're getting 92, I'd say. That's pretty good. Hawksbill Turtle, when returned, if you lost the turn, your opponent's cards lose 4 perm. American Crocodile, just going to mess with their energy a little bit here, since it's one of the cards you can take advantage of. When played, your opponent loses 2 energy regen for the round. Excuse me. Tossed in Goatman as well, since we have 9 oceans. So we're not getting the full benefit of Goatman for the whole deck, but I'll take it for 9 cards. It still feels worth it to me, especially since it's going to get discounted with the Magna Carta. So it's really a 5 energy card for quite a bit of power, so I'll take it. Lone Cypress, also going to get that nice discount too. When drawn, if this is the only Tremendous Tree card in your deck, 6 Oceans and Seas getting 22 until played. So again, pushing that Oceans and Seas up a little bit. Loggerhead Turtle, when returned, whoever wins the turn gains +2 perm. So another option here. We might get lucky, we might not. We could help our opponent out, which is fine if we do. I'm not too worried about it. Arsino, when drawn, random card in your hand gets 46. When returned, another random card in your hand gets 46. So again, just a nice card for the Paleo debuff option. At least you still get some benefits off of it. Hippocampus, your life on land and oceans cards, plus 32 on the turn. Manicore, just a little extra taxing. Like I said, we had American Crocodile already, so I felt like let's toss in Manicore as well. Might actually help us. You never know. So we're going to affect our opponent's arts and culture and history cards in hand, plus 2 for 3 turns. Cockatrice, we saw the nerf. I wanted to try it out here. I haven't played with it since the nerf, honestly, so just for myself, looking to see what it does here. And when returned, an opponent's random card in hand locks for 2 turns. And finally, we got Carto, the new card here. Really digging this card lately. I think it's pretty good, especially with the Great Dying. When played, if it's round 2 or round 4, your non-paleo cards, wherever they are, get 12 until played. So, pretty big buff for this deck. So, I like it. Do want to discuss a cool topic today. So, this is going to be one of my crazy conspiracy theory episodes. So, if you guys don't like that, you might want to click off right about now. So, I was watching Rogan today again, or listening to the podcast, because I love Joe Rogan's podcast. And he just had an episode recently with, what's his name? Bart Sibley, I think was his name. Something like that. But basically talking about the moon landing and basically the hoax behind it. I've always kind of questioned it myself, the fact that did we as Americans go to the moon in 1968 or 69 or whenever it was. I think it was 68. Did we actually accomplish that feat? And it's been quite a bit of a debate throughout several years now. It's been brought up, and I've always kind of wondered myself, like, how did they do that with that technology that's less than what we have in the palm of our hand today, right? So basically the episode kind of goes over this guy. It's kind of one of the lead guys on the side of it being a hoax. And it was pretty interesting, honestly. I had never really considered the fact that that humans quite possibly have never been there. I thought for sure by now in 2024 that for sure humans have been to the moon was kind of my thought process. But he claims that no, humans have never actually stepped foot on the moon. That, obviously just probes and stuff and items like rovers have been there, but as far as humans actually being there, no. That's his claim, that was faked. And I'm going to talk through a couple of reasons that he brings up. Obviously, I'm going to summarize. This is a 3-hour plus episode, so I'm just going to, summarize to the best of my ability here, kind of what was talked about. But I thought it was pretty intriguing, pretty compelling of a case for it to be true that it was indeed a hoax. But you guys can go do your own research and figure it out a little bit more than myself. But one of the key points is, or why humans can't, is what's called the Van Allen radiation belt. It's actually a belt of magnetic energy around the Earth that actually, as like solar energy comes to the Earth, it actually collects the energy and it gets stuck there. And so really over time, the radiation there is increasing. It's building up. So that's one of his points, is that the fact that that's happening, the radiation is continuing to build up. Really, it's energy, or the radiation within that belt is far more than humans can handle. Like, I think he said like some 300 times, that of like an X-ray, or no, was it 300 times more so than like what would kill a human or something like that. Some crazy, ridiculous amount. So basically NASA or whoever goes to space would have to figure out a way to deal with that, or the human that's experienced to the radiation would be killed, would not be able to survive such high radiation. So that's one of the key things with it, is how in the heck did they survive the radiation that they would have been put through? And I don't know. I don't have a good answer. He said that the shuttle itself only was made of 1/8 of an inch thick aluminum. And think about what we get X-rayed with. It's like thick lead vest that they put on you. So obviously lead does better than aluminum. So just the fact that the craft itself, or the shuttle itself, was made of that, it's kind of suspicious already. Seems like it's not adequate enough to handle it. So that was one of the points anyway. The guy also talked about some of the obvious stuff, like most of you guys probably heard about the flag that waves. So one of the points is he showed a video where there's an astronaut setting up the flag on the moon, and basically that the flag is, pretty still. And then when he walks by the flag, he doesn't bump it. He just like walks past it. You can see where it like catches an air draft and it actually waves. Well, there's no air on the moon, so how would the flag actually catch a air draft? It shouldn't. It should stay completely still is the idea behind it. So that's one of the things that he was bringing up was, well, you can see the flag wave, and that is clearly a sign that they're on Earth, not in space. Another cool one I had never heard of, Neil Armstrong, actually, when he supposedly was on the moon, he took some rocks home with him, some of the samples. And there's a story of I can't remember who it was specifically. I'd have to go back and re-listen to it, but it was like a diplomat of some sort, maybe a I don't know, like a king maybe, or some diplomat of some sort, had gotten in contact with Neil, and they met up. And Neil, as a gift, brought him one of the rocks from the moon. And when he gave it to him, he said, "Hey, I grabbed this from the moon, and personally, and I've had it the whole time." He gives it to the guy, and supposedly the guy had it tested and found out it wasn't a rock at all. It was petrified wood. So that was an interesting one, I thought, as well. Well, clearly it didn't come from space. I mean, granted, Neil could have just been pulling his leg there. Who knows? But still, the fact that he was given a false object there is kind of interesting, to say the least. What were some other good ones? There was eyewitness testimony. So this came from a security officer, a senior security officer at Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, when they were allegedly recording basically the moon landing at the air base. The security guard spotted another employee that I guess he knew shouldn't be there, and killed the guy so that this wouldn't leak out. So after he killed the guy, essentially this was like covered up. So you didn't hear anything about it. Well, on this guy on his deathbed, I can't remember the guy's name, but on his deathbed, came forward to his family and said, "I'm a murderer," and he wanted to basically repent his sins for killing this guy. And they said, "How are you a murderer? What do you mean? What did you do?" And he's like, "Well, I killed this guy that witnessed that we were faking the moon landing." And he told this to his family, and obviously his family got in touch with this guy that's doing the podcast with Rogan, and told them that as well. So I thought that was interesting. You guys can take that for what you want, but that's an eyewitness account there that they have that's, firsthand saying that, hey, he knew they faked the moon landing specifically, and he killed somebody and was covering it up for them, helping them out. What was another good one? They showed a lot of the images on the moon, and there's some that show shadows. I thought this was cool. So some of the pictures you can see where there's the lights behind the astronauts, and they're taking pictures, and you can see his shadow on the grounds going like north, let's say. And then there's a rock on the right side that has the shadow actually going at a 90-degree angle, basically to the guy's left. So that was kind of neat, because it kind of shows that, in fact, that... So yeah, anyway, the shadow going to the left. So in fact, that there would have been some type of outside light source, whether it be like a film, like it's being staged, and they've got extra lighting. Because if you're on the moon and the sun is like the primary light source coming in, why would there be other shadows coming from other directions? Unless, of course, it is some outside light source. So that was a cool one, too, I thought. Let's do one more game here, since I'm still kind of chatty Cathying. Anyway, shadows on some of these images are one of the reasons why it's also claimed that it's potentially a hoax. What else? Oh, this was a good one. So he brought up that he had spoken to the wife of the man who was allegedly supposed to be the first man to walk on the moon. Again, I can't remember the guy's name. You have to look him up. But his testimony, he came home. So he was at the launch site where the craft was, or the shuttle was getting worked on or whatever. And that day he was there, which was unusual, he said. The CIA showed up and out of nowhere wanted to do like an inspection on the shuttle. He didn't think anything about it. He went home that day. He told his wife, hey, this is kind of odd that the CIA actually showed up at my work today and they were like inspecting the shuttle and doing all this stuff to it, and who knows, But he thought it was odd enough to tell his wife about it. So the next day, the guy goes back to work, and lo and behold, he's killed. They think that he was killed, or at least his family thinks that the CIA did it. So it was like a freak accident. The shuttle supposedly had like 100% oxygen within the cab. They tampered with the door to where the astronauts, when they got in the shuttle and they were doing whatever they were doing, there was like a remote detonator, it sounded like, under the seat or something. Like they sat on it and it created a spark. Supposedly like some grease rags or something under the seat. Well, it sparked. And obviously 100% oxygen within the cab. All of a sudden, they were changing that formula around, and it exploded. And the door, obviously, being tampered with, they couldn't get out. So they burned alive. Anyway, so the guy's family, they were always wondering, well, that's kind of interesting that they think that he would have spoken out about it, because I guess the guy, they knew about the guy and whatever he was, basically, they don't think he would have been the guy that would have said, yes, I'll fake the moon landing. Is kind of the premise behind it, is what she said. So she believes that they killed him for that specific purpose. Maybe he had been confronted about it previously or didn't say anything, but definitely an interesting one that CIA shows up, and then the following day the guy gets killed. So supposedly the guy that was supposed to be the first man to walk on the moon. So my favorite of the ones that the guy brought up as a kind of a proof is so Google. I think this was a few years ago. Google actually did a AI like conference showing off their new AI thing or whatever, and they ended up letting the public come forward and like post images. There was this specific programming that it had to where basically it can recognize deep fakes in like images. So like if they put like a fake Joe Biden picture and compared it to a real one, and you were trying to like tamper with it, the thing would be able to like with 100. They said with 100% accuracy, this thing has never been wrong and has been able to spot deep fakes. So they put it to the test, and they had the public bring forward like photos and stuff, trying to get it to basically say if it's fake or not. Well, there was a team that ended up bringing the moon landing photos from the first thing there, and it of course spit out all these reasons why it was fake, and it said some of the pictures the guys weren't even real. They were like figurines. It said the backlighting and the background was different, and then it said the foreground was screwed up there. Apparently it listed like a whole bunch of things, but I was like, oh, that's crazy. So it's basically calling him out for all this fake stuff. So apparently Vladimir Putin had heard about this, and they ended up showing it to him, and they that AI disproved the moon landing. And it's funny because the guy that's in the podcast actually gotten a hold of the video of Putin being showed it, and you could see Putin's reaction. Like he wasn't even fazed by the news. Like he had already known. Like, okay, what else you guys got? This is not news, like type shit. So definitely makes you think he already knew about it. It's kind of what the guy was saying. Like it's pretty obvious that Putin knew already. So if Russia knows, he said that most likely China knows. Most of these, I guess the guy has a direct contact within the Chinese space program that he referenced as well, claiming that everybody in the space program already knew that the moon landing was fake and all this stuff. So definitely was pretty compelling, man. Like, you watch these videos and you see all these, or you see the guy trying to explain the different reasonings why things are fake, and you're like, yeah, I could kind of see that. So I don't know. It's kind of eye-opening to me. Like I said, I thought we had by now at least been to space, like being on the moon, I should say, because these guys go to space. They just don't go out of Earth's lower orbit where the Van Allen belts are. So that's kind of the idea, is that they faked, like, there's a video of them being like, looking like they're really far from Earth, but it's like a trick of the camera with their window in the cab and stuff, trying to make it look like they're further away. stuff like that. It was just like, what the heck? Are you serious? This is a thing? But yeah, I was always a believer that for sure we'd been to the moon. I had never really questioned it myself. So it was definitely a little enlightening, I thought. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, definitely go check it out. Definitely makes you wonder what else is kind of BS out there. You know, who knows if we're really being severely lied to or not. You know, right now I have no idea. I think it was he also mentioned, I think it might have been the guy on his deathbed that said, the eyewitness that I mentioned also stated that the government was going to had a plan to come forward in due time and fake an alien invasion. So I think that was, he mentioned it for a few minutes anyway. That was one of the things that was kind of sparked my ear, because you guys know I love my alien content. But kind of the idea that one of the reasons we're seeing a lot of alien sightings now, UFO sightings recently, is because they're gearing up. They're getting ready to release to the public some fake alien invasion news of some sort, or maybe they have a way to actually, I know I've heard before there's like some lighting tricks they've been working on, that, you know, something in the sky that they can fake, make it look like there's tons of aliens everywhere or something. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see if that comes to fruition, if we do see some type of fake alien invasion in the future. But I guess we couldn't do it tonight though, guys. It sucks because I actually played this deck earlier and it did pretty well. So kind of surprised I got steamrolled here, but it is what it is. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the conversation. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a wild one today, but I thought it was a cool theory, man. At least this guy put forth, I felt like, some decent evidence against the moon landing, and I wanted to share it with you guys because, like I said, I felt like I was really enlightened by it, and it seemed like he had good points. So definitely, if you're interested in that stuff, go read into it more. Don't take my advice. Don't take my word for it. Like I said, I just listened to a podcast about it, and I thought it was pretty wild. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But as always, please hit that like button and that subscribe button, and have a good night, guys.